and welcome back to Build with the Boys. I'm Scott, and today we have got the next 4 parts of Ironman, which I believe are 69 to 71. I might be completely wrong. 69 to 72, I think. I might be wrong. We might actually be on 74. I'm not sure. We'll go through the numbers. But we are rather excitedly moving on to the body. So the first one of this one, I actually have got 2 of, because last month they sent me this early. I don't know why, but I got this one instead of the other one that I should have had. So I've actually got 2 of these. So if at any point you need any of these bits, I'm your guy, let me know. We're building the base in this one as well. So if you're not a premium subscriber, you do get a base for the Ironman, and that's what this is. Now, I am doing the premium base, but this still is useful because you can use it whilst you're assembling him, and also it's a much smaller base. So I've got a plan of where I'm putting this, but I've got a clear room for it to go. So whilst I'm waiting for that, I have got the little base that I can use. The little base which has got up on one of these shelves over here. The premium base is humongous, so it does have a use, and we are building it over the next 3 packs. So we build the base itself, we build the rod that it attaches to, and we build the clamp that will go around his waist and hold him in place. Rather exciting on this one as well, as we are now moving on to the body. So we do get the torso in this one, with the chest, and you'll see the cavity that the arc reactor will go into. We get some parts of the neck, but this is why I'm glad we're past the legs now, because even though there isn't much to do in any stage of Ironman, there just isn't, it's at least something different. It's not repetition. So yeah, it's a good one, this one. There's some big pieces in this, and it'll be interesting now to have more parts we don't have. It is unfortunately more parts of the box. We're just not assembling this. I mean, this is something that we just got to come to peace with on this one, that we are just going to have this colossal box of bits that we've built until I think it's 94 we assemble him. So it's a long way away until we start putting this thing together. I mean, I should be finished with this model in December. The actual run will end in January, because you get some extra waist pieces where you can put them in different poses. But the actual the main build itself will be complete by December of this year. And we've discussed Ironman. It is what it is. There's not a lot to build. It's a gorgeous model, and I can't take that away from it. The paint job on this thing is stunning. And of all the models that I've dealt with so far, touch wood, this one's been flawless with regards to delivery. It's turned up on time every time since I subscribed to it without failure. There have been no delays. Now I've said that, I probably just cursed it, but it's been pretty much flawless. Every other model I've had a problem with. This one, nope, it's turned up on time every time. Even with the replacement part, they sent me the wrong pack, and it was 4 days from me saying to them, you sent me the wrong one, to the new one coming out. 4 days, and there was no mess around or anything. So no, respect to them. So Fanhome have done a great job. I know that's not true of everybody's experience. I know some people have had issues with their R2-D2s, but I haven't. Again, with R2-D2 and with Ironman, I can't fault them. They've been really good compared to literally everyone else on the market at the moment. They've been great. Eagle Moss are a joke at this point. Eagle Moss have become almost a parody of the company. Ecto 1 was supposed to finish today. I'm still 2 issues off doing that, with absolutely no indication of when we're ever going to see those. I wouldn't touch Eagle Moss with a barge pole at this point. Hachette are fine, but they have had delays with the Titanic. They had a very minor delay with the Disney Doll's House, but they're not bad, Hachette, by any means, but there have been problems. Agora had problems with the Route Master, where they sent us 2 packs out at once, and then they were late by a month, and then they were late by 6 weeks, and then so there's, I don't know. See, again, I was supposed to finish that one in September. I don't think that'll be finished until November or December of this year. So yeah, of the 4 that I'm dealing with, so I'm dealing with Agora, Eagle Moss, Fanhome, and Hachette. Fanhome, head and shoulders for the rest of them. They just are. Everything is. They've got a very good portal, so you can see when your payments are going to go out. You can see when they have gone out. You can see when something is being prepared. You can see when it's shipped. You can track the packages. You can see what's coming next. There's links to videos and guides of everything. You can see exactly when you receive. It's fantastic, and I can't fault them. I know this hasn't been everyone's experience, but for me, I can just judge it off how they've been for me, and they've been great. So that's the one major plus to Ironman. It's flown by, absolutely flown by, because it's turned up on time. Anyway, let's get into this because we've got quite a bit to do, and we'll put them together, and yeah, we'll have a chat at the end of what it looks like. What I'm going to do in this one as well is I have got part 8 of the premium stand, but part 8 is exactly the same as the last 5 parts. It's just another piece for the disc. I'm not going to show you me doing that again. If you want to see how that part's made, just go watch any of the last 5 videos and you'll see it. I'm just going to add it to the premium base, and we'll take a look at the premium base at the end, but it is massive. I mean, this thing is like a shield at this point. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get started, and let's get cracking on this new base. Here's everything we get with stage 71. Now these will be the ball joints for the legs. We're going to put them together. They don't attach to anything. They don't attach to the hip joint. Under there's no nice way of saying it. It's the missing crotch piece from the Ironman pelvis. That's what. Again, we're not attaching it to anything. So what we're going to do is going to make these 2 ball joints, hip joints, and then we've got the second part of the stand and the clamps that can hold it together. So we're going to put this disc together as well. Nice and simple, this one. There's not really much to it. So let's get this done. So these are the parts we're going to be using in this stage. Now, these parts came a long time ago. I believe it was 33 and 52 we got those in. These are the ones we got this month. Now, it doesn't matter which one of these you put in these, but it does matter which one of these is then subsequently attached to this. So, there is a left and a right. Now, they do have a letter inside of them, and you'll find that just here. Now, my camera's not going to pick this up, but this one is the left. So that's the one we're working with first. And then with regards to these hip pieces, this one is left. So that's your left piece, and that's your right piece. Now, you do need to get these right, otherwise you are going to have problems later on. So to attach one of these ball joints, all you're going to do is hold it this way. That goes through there, and you drop it in. That's it. That's all you got to do. And then that will attach into there like that, and we're going to hold it in place with 2 LP screws. I'm going to grab my screwdriver, and we'll get this one done. Nice and simple. There's nothing overly complicated with this. We don't need to use the 3-in-1 oil on this because it's just plastic into plastic. So yeah, there's no reason to go mad and overkill this, and hopefully these should go in quite easily. And then we're just going to repeat the process on the second one. I apologise for the lack of content this week. Now, there is a reason for that. I am working in my little office, and I can tell you it's currently 5:30 in the morning because I get up ridiculously early for a number of reasons I won't go into, but mainly work reasons. Yeah, the idea was, because it gets so hot in this little hobby room I've got, I thought I'd do this first thing in the morning before this room heats up to a hellish extent, because I just haven't had a chance to build these models because it's like a sauna in here. Anyway, that one's done. So there you go. So you've got your hip joint there. That one's done. Right, we're going to repeat the exact same process with number 2. And again, I've seen some people say they're having problems doing this. Not really. I mean, literally, that goes through there, and that's it. There's nothing overly complicated about this. It really is that simple. Again, that one onto there, and then we're going to attach that with 2 LP screws. Then all we've got to do is build the frame, well, the base. And again, it's a simple enough thing to do. We're going to clip it in place, and then we're going to put more LP screws into it. Is that in there? Again, if you can hear a cat meowing, I apologise. It's not my cat. I've actually got the window open. I never have the window open in here. But it's, as I said, it is sweltering hot. So I apologise for any background noise that may come through, like weird cats meowing. Right, so those are those complete, and that's all we've got to do for the actual build in this stage. Now, we don't use this piece. It's just it's a put away and wait till later piece. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring up the 2 sides of the base, and we're going to put those together. So this is the one we got this month. This has got the hole where the bar will go in. We're going to flip that one over, And then we've got the other one there that we got last month. Just give us some way where you can see it. Right. So first thing you do is you can take one of these clips, and there's an edge over here, and it just fits over it, slide down. And that will just pull it nice and snug. You can do the exact same thing over here. Squeeze this together, slide your clip over it, pull it down. That's it. So that will hold that in place. Now the next thing we're going to do is we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now not only will these hold this in place, but they will also provide some very much needed support to this plastic disc. The one thing I'm aware of is just how bloody heavy this model is, because I've held the pack with the chest in it, and trust me, it is bloody heavy. So 2 of those heavy legs, 2 of those heavy arms, a big heavy chest piece, his head, you're going to need support in this base, because it is just a plastic base. So you will definitely need support. I mean, it's going to be held by the rod, which is going to give it a bit of support, but yeah, you're gonna need these little legs here, because otherwise I can see this thing just bowing and bending in the middle. You don't want that. So these will hopefully give this base some support. So that's all 4 screwed in now. So we flip this over, and there it is. There's our base. Now this does have support, so it's not going to bow, it's not going to buckle. And again, I'm building the premium, so I don't really need this, but I mean, it does have a use. And so I've got a permanent home for Ironman. There is something for him to stand on. If I do end up in somewhere smaller, or I need smaller shelf space, it will have a use. So I mean, it's worth doing, even if you are building premium. It's also worth holding on to, because you never know. You never know, because the premium base is massive. So that's it for this one. Those are the parts that we built, and that is the carryover part. We're not going to need that for a long time, but that's it for this one. We're going to move on to 71 now. We're going to do the chest. So here's everything you get in 72. I said 71, sorry, 72. Now, the one thing worth noticing with this is when you get it, you realize how heavy this is. And I thought it was all chest, and it's not. I mean, this is a heavy piece, but this is not where the weight in this pack has come from. It's these 2 bars. These steel bars here weigh a lot. I mean, there's some serious weight to these. So it's good that it has support. He's not gonna do a dive. But if it is going into a plastic frame, I question how good that support's going to be. Anyway, let's get this built. These are the parts we're actually going to be using in this step. So we have this rather massive chest piece. I'm going to flip that one over. And what we're going to do is, this is ultimately going to hold the arc reactor. So this is going to go into here, and we're going to screw it in place. So let's pop that in. All we're going to do is we're going to put in EM screws to do this. So that's the way. Let me just double check that is the way around we go. That is. So that's incorrect. So we're going to put 2 EM screws in, one here and one here. Now, because this is metal, I am going to use the 3-in-1 method of just touching the tip of the screw into the 3-in-1 oil, just to help it on its way. I don't know how I'm going to be able to show you me doing this, but hopefully you can see. Completely missed. Okay. It's a bit of a tricky one to see this. And in we go. And just honestly, that 3-in-1 oil just makes the transaction so much easier, but don't go mad with it, because you will get oil stains. Now, it doesn't matter too much on what we're doing at the moment, because it's the internals. You're never going to see it. So I'm not overly worried about that. But if you're using 3-in-1 technique on anything black, external, just be incredibly careful, because you'll leave ugly stains. And the only way to really get it off is with isopropyl alcohol. So you use some of that, give it a wipe over, any oil stains will just come straight off. But the easiest way to do it is just don't go mad on the oil in the first place. You literally just touch these and you'll see how much easier that goes in. And that's it. So that's in place, that's done. So we flip this over, we've now got a receptacle for the arc reactor. I will show you that as well. I'll bring the arc reactor up and we'll pop it in and have a look. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to slot this through here. And let me make sure this goes in the right way around, because there is a dip and a recess, so I just want to make sure we do have this the right way. Yeah. Okay, so it goes in like that. So that drops down in there. And then we are going to attach this to the back of the part that we've just done. So what this is going to do is this is how you're going to turn the arc reactor on. So once this is in, the arc reactor itself will be able to be turned on by pressing a button on his back. But you've got to be able to reach it. So to do that, you need this extended lever. So you don't have to keep pulling the arc reactor out of his chest and, you know, put it back in. You will just be able to press a button on his back, which will push this, which will turn the arc reactor on. It seems a bit backwards way of doing it. I mean, my main criticism of this model is that I would have preferred it wired. You know, one battery wired, and you press one battery and it all turns on. But you know, it's annoying. You got to turn both feet on and each of the hands, and then the arc reactor. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, I suppose the plus is you can just have the arc reactor on if the hands aren't in a position or the feet aren't in a position where you're going to see them. There's no real reason to have them on, so you could just have the arc reactor on instead. And that is it. So eventually, you'll press this, and it will press the button on the back will press that, and it'll turn the arc reactor on. Let me grab an arc reactor, we'll pop one in, and we'll have a look what that looks like. So bringing up an arc reactor, we'll just pop this one on. Let's drop this in and see how it looks. So yeah, there's the arc reactor in the chest. We'll turn that off in case you're getting too much glare. There you go. That's the arc reactor in the chest. Now there are a lot more chest pieces to go over this, but yeah, all fits, all nice, happy with that. And now we are going to put together the bar for the base. Now there's no screws to be applied as such in this one, but what we're going to do is this piece is going to slot into here, and there are two holes that we need to line up. There we go, so that's in. And then we have some pins, very weird looking things, but I can see there's no real difference either end of them, so it doesn't really matter which way these go, I don't think. No. So we have some pins. We're going to slot in two of these pins to hold this thing in place. And something tells me this isn't going to be easy. That's one. Let's see if we can get this to go in. There's one out. Right, I certainly don't want to hammer this. Oh, and I don't need to. Okay, so once it's lined up with a bit of wiggle, that's in. So that's one in. Let's get the other one in. Oh dear. You know what this reminds me of? There's a thing on the Disney Doll's house where you have to build doors and you have to put these pins in to hold the hinges. Kind of like this. It's a force unto itself. Alright, I'm going to wiggle this and get this lined up, and then we'll have a look at it once it's complete. So here it is complete. I mean, there's just some wiggling with these pins to get them in place, but they're in place. Now, this is the top end. Going to the very bottom end, and where this isn't going to show up particularly well on film, they're advising that we attach one of these stickers to the base. So we can definitely do that. Let's get this off and get that done. So we only need to use one of these. So again, we'll do as they say. So that's it, so that's attached. Now this should, in theory, fit into the base. Let's see if that is indeed the case. So here's our base that we made. The last issue, now this should fit into there. Yeah, right. Yeah, apply a sticker to it to make things easier. First thing it does, it blocks it from going in. Alright, Yeah, I mean, that sticker's just shearing off. Right, let's try that again. Let's try again. There we go. So now we have, this is massive. So that is the stand with the pole complete, and that brings us to the end of issue 72, and let's move on to 73. So here's everything we get at 73. Now we're making the clamp for the base as well, but in the immediate, the actual build parts are here, and this part here, this part here. So let's disappear these for now. I'm just going to focus on this part. So, bring over this section here. We are going to install these two. They're not like collarbones. I mean, I'm assuming that's what they would be in the scheme of things, but they certainly, well, I don't know, but collarbones, ribs, I don't know. So there's one. And it says to pop the other one. Now I know there's no point in doing this because they're going to fall out as soon as I flip this over. What have I got going on here? Alright, let's flip that one round. There we go. Okay, that's how we're going to be. Now we do screw these in from the back, and we'll be using, I'm willing to bet, IP screws. IP is very popular amongst the designers of this model. There's a lot of IP screws going into this. Now I know as soon as I flip this over, one of these is going to fall out, so I'm just going to come to peace with that, take that one out now. I've got that in wrong. I've got those in wrong. That is the way those go. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's flip this over. Well, at least we caught that now. Normally it's after the fact, but we've caught it before we've put it in. That's a good thing. Okay. Another IP screw. Again, no need for 3-in-1 on this. It's plastic into plastic, so there's no need for the overkill of a 3-in-1 oil. The other thing you have to remember as well when you're putting the screws into plastic, once it bites, it bites. You don't want to overwork it, otherwise you're gonna thread it out. You don't want that. So that's that one done. We're gonna put the other one in. We'll take a look at it. So that's both of those pieces installed. Easy enough. I mean, you can get it wrong. They can go the wrong way around, but I mean that's how they go in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over this neck piece here, and this is going to slot into there. Now there are two lugs here, and well, two gaps here for lugs. Well, these are going to slot straight into. Sure, know when you got this on right. There you go. Easy enough. And we're going to attach this to that again using two IP screws. Like I said, the makers of this one really went for it with the IP screw. It seems anytime we do anything plastic, it's IP screws. IPs and EMs have been the big one of the Ironman build. That's, I think I've used more than anything of is IPs and for plastic and EMs for metal. Okay, that's that one. And one more. That's it. That's him. So there we go. That's that attached to that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring over our chest from the last one. That's where we weren't. Let me take the arc reactor back out, so we don't want to mess around with that. So bringing over our chest, this piece is going to fit right in there like that. There we go. I'm going to turn this one over, and this is going to be held in place again with, you guessed it, IP screws. So two more IP screws, and then that's pretty much done for the chest build for this part, and then we'll be moving on to the clip for the base. So we're going to put two IP screws, one in here and one opposing it. So let's get this one in first. Nope, that ain't lined up. I don't want to play ball. Alright, that's what's going on here then. Because it ain't like I've got a lot of wiggle room here. Alright, so that one's bit. Let's get one in. And hopefully that should pull the other one into the line. That's one. I can already see the other one isn't in line though, so this is going to be interesting. Nah, this ain't playing ball. I'm going to have to have a look at this. So we've got him. I'll show you what the problem was in a minute for when you come to this part, if you have the same issue. You might not, but that's in place. Now what it was this side just wasn't pushed right down at the top, and then that sort of popped into place. So that's where we are now with our chest. Start reactor again. There you go. So we're starting to get the chest of Ironman. That's it from the inside. And it's nice to see something that isn't arms or legs, isn't it, right? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble the clamp for the base, which is going to hold our Ironman in place. Taking the two parts of the clamp, what we do is we take a strip of these each, and I've already done it, and you just put it along here. Now these are padded, so they're not going to cause any damage to your model. It's not just a tape, it's like a padding, it's like protective padding. Then we're going to take our spring. Actually, going to slot in there like that, and you can see where the spring comes out there. Versus where it is on this arm here. So we're going to slot that one in. That's going to meet the spring, and that is all we really need to do. There's a screw to hold this all together, and that's pretty much it. Now it's a GM to hold that in place, and then we're just going to attach it to the pole that we made in the last part. So a single GM screw into here, just there. That's it. Now it should. Yeah, I'm not impressed with that. That's not working. Right, that's what's going on with that. Just managed to throw itself from the spring. That's not a problem, but now we've got it so it springs back. So that's exactly where it needs to be. So it will clamp without clamping too harsh. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to attach this to the base itself. Now, I don't know how I'm going to film this, so I think I'm just going to attach it and go through what we did. We have the stand complete. Screwed in place there now. I can show you the back of this, which is never going to come out on camera, but it's simple enough. It's just two screws that go in there. It's KM screws, they're very long. Touch a 3-in-1 or run it easy. Now there are lots of slots on this, so depending on what position you have them in, it just comes out and you put it to where it needs to be. But that's it, that's this stage complete, and now it's time to move on to number 74. This is everything, including the obligatory pack of, you guessed it, IP screws that you get with stage 74. Now, there isn't a lot to do to this. I believe we're just attaching this to the chest, and that's it. I really don't think there's a lot to do. No, there's not. It's 4 IP screws. So we're going into plastic again. No need to use 3-in-1. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our chest over, and this should go this way round. And we're going to flip this. Make sure this all lines up. Then we're going to put in 4 IP screws. So this should be fairly simple to close out the month. I have still got the premium stand to do, but as I said, I've already shown you the exact part I'm doing 5 times already. But this is the last time we're doing that. So again, you don't want to see me do that. You don't want to see me put a load of screws into a thing that I've done 5 times before for you. Just, you can watch me do any one of them and just watch it 5 times. You get the same effect. But the difference with this one we put in today is that will be that section of the base complete, the base of the base complete, if that makes sense. And then we start putting we start adding the LEDs next month to the interior. We start wiring it, and then we'll be moving on to to actually put a cover across the bottom as well, because all that gets covered up too. Making a pig zero of this. That's because I'm trying to talk and rush at the same time. Yeah, so the base is going to look bloody impressive because it is huge. Anyway, let's get this done and then we'll take a look at it. That is it. That's all screwed in place. Again, simple. 4 screws is always needed. I want to pop the arc reactor back in there so you can get an idea of what's going on. So now none of this will be visible. It's literally only this section is visible through the red armour when that goes on. But it's looking rather lovely. I'm going to crack on with the premium base. I'm just going to get it done and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So that is the premium base. Well, this section of it, the 6th section, done. To give you an idea of how big this is, what can I use? Okay, well there you go, there's a standard mouse. It gives you an idea of how big this thing is. What else we got? We got a bottle of glue. And we've got, now I am monstrous, my hands are huge. You can see just how massive this base is. It's ridiculously big. And it hasn't finished, it's going to come out more. So we've got we've got a lot of base to do, but this thing's huge, it really is. Let's have a chat. That's it for this month's pack. To give you an idea again of just how huge that base is. So this is the base. It's massive. I mean, this thing is, it's like Captain America's shield at this point, but there is still more to go on this thing. But it's a beast. It's a huge base. It really is. So I know that next month we start putting the outer parts to it, and I believe soon we're going to install the battery box as well. So when we start putting the LED strips in, we can plug them into the thing, we test with the battery box and see how we're going. But that is part, I want to say 8 of the premium stand, which I believe has 13 parts. There's 5 more to go, which ties up with when this is going to end. We got another 5 deliveries of Ironman, 5 or 6 deliveries left, and then that'll be it. So all very exciting now, because everything that comes from now until the end just enhances that body, really. It is, again, it's a long time before we put anything together. The first thing that goes together is we will attach the legs to the hips. That happens first. And then a couple of issues after that, we assemble the entire thing. It's a while until we put the front of the chest to the back and make a full body. And there are a lot of things on the back of Ironman. So he does have wings. I know that sounds strange, but he does. If you've seen when he sort of slams the brakes on, wings come up. Now, not every suit had that, but the one we're making is the Mark 3. So Mark 1 was the thing he made in the cave, basically. The big sort of bulky one. I'd make that. If they released that as a kit, I think I'd make it. I don't know, maybe. I think I would. I think I'd make it. Mark 2 was pretty much what we're making now, but it was silver. Mark 3 was the main one, so it was kind of the thing that was used in all the advertising when the original Iron Man movie was released back in 2007, if you believe that, long time ago now. That was the main sort of push. That was the big one. So it's the suit everyone knew. So there's been, I mean, they're on like Mark 50 something now, I think, but Mark 3 was the one where this is Iron Man. So when you see him first fire the rockets, and that was that one. So when he slams brakes on, he'd have these things that come out of his shoulders, and they'd almost work like an air brake. Those are on this model, and they're quite fiddly. And I think one of the packs is pretty much that's it. That's all we're doing. So there is repetition there because we've got to build both sides of it. But it's quite complicated. There's like 3 pieces come out of it, and it's something I don't think anyone's ever really going to display on their model. But again, it's a detail. It's nice to have, and if it wasn't there, I'm sure people wouldn't be happy. But if it is there, it just does mean there's more parts to build. But we are, I mean, we're 3/4 of the way through this now. More than that, really, because I mean, it's finished before 100. It is. This one's done at 94, to be honest. So we are, yeah, we're over 3/4 of the way through this. And again, it was rough going. The legs and the arms were rough going. Now we're kind of past that. I look forward to this now. I hadn't looked forward to Iron Man in a long time, but now I kind of look forward to this turning up, and it'll be a nice Christmas present when this is done, you know. Again, I apologise there hasn't been a lot of content on the channel this week. It's just so bloody hot, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that's feeling that, but it's been grim. But there will be, there's more to come. We've got a lot more to come. We've got a lot of R2D2 coming up, so we're going to have a very Star Wars themed week next week, I think, because we've got like 3 packs of R2D2 to get through. So it's, and we've had notification that Titanic shipped as well. So there's a lot more to come. We've got more of Oscar's Marvel books as well. We got more Lego, but just more of everything. It's just too bloody hot to do it at the moment. It just is. I'm sorry. If you enjoyed that, please hit the like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe, and you can watch Iron Man all the way to the end and all the other builds that we've got. We'd love to have you. It's a nice little community we got here, and I love speaking to all of you. If you've got any questions, please feel free to pop in the comments. If you don't want to put it in the comments, you can contact me at buildingwiththeboys@outlook.com. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next one. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. We'll see you next time.